Because 1 out of every 2 marriages are going to end in divorce, family courts have become the new battleground for couples who are overrun with passion and emotion, and a lot of them frustration. And for some, that judge's decision is the final blow that sends them over the edge. Last month in Brooklyn, New York, a state parole officer shoots and kills his estranged wife just before the start of a bitter custody hearing. September 1992, San Bernardino, California. A man fatally shoots his girlfriend's father because he was fed up with the courtroom battle going on over visitation rights of his 2 children. May 1992, a Clayton, Missouri courthouse sets the scene for a shootout right out of the Wild West. While waiting for their divorce hearing that had raged on for 2 years, a husband holding 2 guns fatally shoots his wife in front of their daughter, wounds 2 lawyers, a bailiff, and a security guard.
I need to get metal detectors so idiots like that can't go in and do it.
And in January of last year, Cleveland, Ohio, an angry husband who wanted custody of his own child chases his wife and relatives into the family courthouse with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and fires it 8 times. He kills his wife and brother-in-law and even puts the gun to his own child's head and threatens to kill her if he doesn't get his way. So what we have here is the fact that the halls of justice now tremble with violence. We want you to please meet Judge Lawrence Janke. Less than a year ago, Reuben Larson grabbed a semi-automatic gun out of his briefcase during a fight over child support and fired 2 shots, nearly killing the judge. Later, Reuben went to a local radio station with a note stating that he shot the judge because he was defending himself against the system. We're going to talk with Reuben and with the judge in just a few minutes. First, I want you to meet his ex-wife, Margaret. She says she always had an idea that Reuben was capable of something like this. Why, Margaret?
Well, 3 years into the marriage, I wanted him to get counseling, and he refused.
What reason would you want him to get counseling? You loved this man?
He was verbally abusive. At a couple of points, he slapped me to get his point across.
Okay. And you said to him, let's go get help?
I wanted him to go into counseling.
What kind of a man was he? What background?
He was the son of a minister, went to Bob Jones University, a Christian college.
Right.
He was very domineering. His idea was the only idea.
All right. You asked him to go to counseling within 3 years and nothing happened? He wouldn't go?
He refused to go. He says he wouldn't be intimidated.
All right.
He wasn't going to go to a psycho. And I just started getting scared.
Scared because he was beating up on you? Or?
Well, no, he slapped me twice.
All right.
He was verbally abusive, very intimidating. He also told me at one time that if I can't take life, I should get out of it. My feeling was I could take life just fine. I couldn't take him.
All right. Did you tell him you wanted to divorce him?
I told him, well, this was at the end of 10 years. I told him if we weren't in counseling by the time he was sentenced because he was a tax evader.
He was a tax evader?
Yeah.
Why did he evade taxes?
It was unconstitutional, according to him.
So he studied the law, decided that he shouldn't be taxed?
Right.
He didn't pay his taxes for how long?
10 years.
And he went to jail?
He went to jail at the end of 10 years, and I told him if he wasn't in counseling by the time of sentencing, whether he got off or whether, if he went to jail, I was going to file.
Okay.
His answer was, I'm not going to be intimidated.
All right.
When he went to jail, I did file. He fought that for a year on the grounds that it was unconstitutional for me to get a divorce.
Why would it be unconstitutional? Well, maybe we'll ask him.
I think he should, because I never figured it out. He also felt that if I left the marriage, I should leave without anything, and that included our son. He got out of jail, and a couple of months later, he did finally agree to the divorce.
Okay.
At that time, he did give me custody.
So you had custody of the child.
I had
Did you have any
custody.
money, or did he keep it all?
We didn't have any money. Well, there too, it was his money. He spent it as he chose.
Did you try to get money out of him?
The courts did.
All right. Now, lead me up to the day when this took place.
Well, that was about 2 years after the divorce. He was going in to jail because he never paid any child support. At one point, I think he was living with a woman that he called his common law wife. Mm-hmm. And I think at one point she might have paid, and I think his mother might have paid at one point to get him out of jail. He never paid a penny.
So the job was to put him in court, right?
Right.
Now, you're the judge. You were there that day. What did you see in front of you? In other words, what was the case that was coming up, Judge?
This was May 5th, 92, just about a year ago. I had had Reuben before me, I think, on at least 2 previous occasions, so I knew his temperament. I knew the kind of individual he was. As Mrs. Larson just said, he feels he could not be intimidated, and he conducts himself in that regard.
In what way? Does he listen to his lawyer, for example?
If you mention the word attorney or lawyer to him, it's like lighting a fuse. He wants absolutely nothing to do with the legal system.
So he acts as his own lawyer?
Absolutely. Right through his own attempted murder trial, he acted as his own attorney. Through a federal firearms trial, he acted as his own attorney. And I assume the appeals he'll be doing by himself.
Okay.
But back to May 5th, we had a hearing set for about 11 o'clock that morning.
On child support?
Yes, he was, at that time, I believe, $11,000 or $12,000 in arrears on his child support. He had appeared before 2 or 3 other judges prior to appearing before me for the first time. The first time had been maybe a year before that. They had also directed that he pay child support. The only time from the date of their divorce, which I think, Margaret, was when, 1988? 89?
No, it was 90.
In 90. The only time he had paid child support from the date of divorce, on 2 occasions, he had been incarcerated for contempt of court. And the only way he could have been released then was to pay some money, which he did on 2 previous occasions. May 5th, he came in. We were again going to ask him why he did not, or if he could not, pay child support.
That was the purpose. Now,
that's right.
This is what state?
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Courtroom about a room this size, smaller?
About this size.
Okay.
And North Dakota is a very rural state, and we're not used to violence there. So even though Reuben had been very vocal and argumentative when he appeared before me on previous occasions, I didn't have any particular fear for my personal safety on that day either. He came into the courtroom just a few minutes after 11. He was carrying a satchel under his arm, small briefcase. He put it down on the table, and I asked the state's attorney who was present to go ahead and start the hearing. Mr. Larson immediately pulled some papers out of his satchel, said that we couldn't have the hearing, it was unconstitutional. We just could not start at that particular time. He wasn't ready to go. I asked him at that time, once again, as I had on previous occasions, Reuben, can I get an attorney for you to help you with this? Absolutely not. You're insulting my intelligence by asking me if I want an attorney. I can handle this matter by myself. I made that a matter of record, turned to the state's attorney, asked if she was ready to proceed. She was, and she asked that Mr. Larson take the stand and be sworn. I turned to Reuben, asked him if he would please come up and raise his right hand to be sworn. Initially, he refused. I advised him of the contempt powers of the court. He then picked up his satchel, walked up toward the bench, approached the witness stand, which was maybe 5 or 6 feet off to my right, put his satchel down on the bench. I asked him to raise his right hand to be sworn. He put his left hand into the satchel, and I thought perhaps he was going to pull some papers out to assist him in his testimony, but he pulled out what I later learned was a .357 Magnum. He pointed at my head. I stood up. As I stood, he fired the first shot. I went down behind the bench. I didn't have any sensation of being hit at that particular time. There was an alarm that's normally triggered by your foot or your shoe. You do have an alarm system where you can go for help. Yes. By stepping on it? Slipping your foot under it. Okay. Did you do that? I activated the alarm, turned on my side, and activated it with my hand, putting my hand under it. And as I was doing that, I happened to look up over the bench, and I saw a left hand with a pistol in it coming over the top of the bench and pointing in my general direction. He fired a second shot. And as he fired the second shot, for the first time I realized I'd been hit because my ankles, I was lying on my side, started to fibrillate or shake. And within 10 seconds, I think I had lost consciousness and really didn't remember much for
If
about the
that
next 2
bullet
weeks.
had been an inch away, you'd have been dead, correct?
That's correct.
1 inch. Was there a doctor in the courthouse at that time? Who came to your assistance?
It's ironic. Yes, there was a doctor in the courthouse. He was up on a different floor. He happened to be a good friend of mine, and this was just coincidental. When he was advised that someone had been shot, he came running down to the courtroom, apparently found me there, and started CPR until help arrived.
Now, you weren't in the court that day, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Did you ever think that he would do something like try to shoot the judge? I mean, how do you...
It didn't surprise me.
Didn't surprise
I guess I felt he was capable of it.
Right.
I didn't know there was a hearing that day. I knew he had guns, and in fact, that day I'm going to school, and I had my last test, and I was planning on going down to Child Protective Services and telling them that he wasn't going to be able to take our son until he got rid of those guns.
What town is this?
Grand Forks, North Dakota.
He was once on the council of Grand Forks.
He was a city councilman.
City council person. All right. I want to ask him where he went when did he run out of the courtroom?
Well, I learned this, of course, all afterwards. Sure. He didn't run out of the courtroom. He walked out of the courtroom.
Well, let's ask where he went. When we come back, we'll talk with Reuben Larson, the man who almost killed Judge Janke. He said he had every right to shoot the judge. This was self-defense. We'll be right back.
Zestfully clean.
You know, Zest Rinse is better than soap.
Of course, silly.
Did you know that no soap is better for your skin?
Or your skin.
Zest lathers you clean, then rinses you cleaner. Soap leaves a yucky film behind, but Zest rinses clean away.
A girl's got to take care of her skin.
And no soap is better for your skin than Zest.
Zestfully clean. Can I have my towel? You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean. Feels smooth.
When kids are on their own, are they okay at home? Hi, I'm Carol Meekins from today's TMJ4. A lot of kids this age have to spend some time at home alone. And in our special series in May, we're going to make sure that your kids are okay at home. And we're offering teachers an okay at home curriculum to go along with our today's TMJ4 special May series. You can get this free okay at home curriculum to help your kids in class. Just call your County University of Wisconsin Extension office.
Now you'll get extra savings on Sealy Posturepedic mattress and box springs. We're closing out Sealy Posturepedics. There's none better through Wednesday at Kilder's.
No matter how much you prepare, life is full of surprises. That's why people who are ready for anything count on AAA. 24 hours a day, anywhere. With AAA, help is just a phone call away. We'll unlock your door, change your flat, start your car, deliver gas, tow you, and much more. All for one low yearly membership fee. Sooner or later, you'll break down and join AAA. Why not join today? Call 1-800-335-2222.
New developments, advanced treatments, wellness tips. Health Digest is an ongoing series of medical reports produced by today's TMJ4 in cooperation with local healthcare providers. The Hale and Allen Center for the Vision Sciences is the exclusive provider for information on radial keratotomy, a surgical procedure to correct nearsightedness and astigmatism. To learn how Hale and Allen uses this procedure, watch for Health Digest on today's TMJ4 or call at 425-2969 for more information.